You are live, Madam Chair. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Sierra. Okay, good evening, everyone, and good evening to the Fire and EMS Committee and to the citizens of Douglas County. Welcome to our May 3rd, 2022, 2 p.m. Douglas County Fire and EMS Committee meeting. We'll call this meeting to order, and certainly I'll start with roll call, and I will allow each member to acknowledge themselves personally. I'll start with myself. I'm Dr. Ramona Jackson-Jones, and I am the chairman of this committee, which is the Fire and EMS Committee. And I'll yield to you, Commissioner Guider.
I am Commissioner Guider, District 4, and I am the Vice Chair of the Fire and EMS Committee.
Chief Jolivet.
Okay, Chief Roderick Jolivet, Fire Chief, Douglas County Fire and EMS.
Okay.
Deputy Chief Miles Allen, Deputy Chief of Operations.
Okay.
Deputy Chief Pablo Lugo, Deputy Chief of Training and Community Risk Reduction.
Okay.
John Reed, Terminus.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Rosalind Miller, Finance.
Okay. Thank you. And I believe that's all our sitting members. Committee, we do have a quorum today, so we can certainly start our meetings. Chief, I'll yield the floor to you, Fire Chief Jolivet.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioner Guider, distinguished panel members, as well as committee members, as well as the citizens. Thank you for allowing us to serve you. Today we have a relatively short agenda, and we're just excited to be able to present today. We will start out with
The approval of the minutes, and I missed that piece.
yes,
Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes from April 5th? And Commissioner Guider led that meeting. That was one that I was absent in. Did everyone have an opportunity? Commissioner Guider, your mic is muted.
If the minutes came yesterday, I have not had a chance to read them.
You have not. Okay. What we'll do, Commissioner, do you think if, as we go through the meeting, you will have a chance to browse through them, because of course I wasn't here for that meeting, so I won't be able, but we can delay to our next meeting to accept these minutes.
Let's
Is that what you prefer to do?
next meeting. Yes, please, because I'm afraid I'm going to cut you off if I flip flop.
Okay.
Outlook. Okay.
Understood. So, committee, today we certainly will not engage in the approval of our minutes. However, at our next meeting, which will be held in June, we will approve April's minutes as well as with the May minutes. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. So, Chief, certainly you have the floor now for our Chief Jolivet, and certainly we'll start with old business, and we will work the agenda today. You have the floor.
thank you, Madam Chair.
Mm-hmm.
We'll start out with old business. Let me pull my agenda back up. It just disappeared on me.
Chief, lower your camera. No, raise your camera a little bit, because we see half of your pretty face.
Okay.
Nope, gotta go more than that.
Having a little technical difficulty.
There we go. There we go.
All right. Well, without further delay, we'll start with the our new business. Ms. Paula Austin.
I think you want to start with your old business.
Old business. Ms. Paula,
Yes,
can you start with the agenda item? I'm trying to pull my agenda back up. It
sure.
disappeared on me.
Okay, for old business item, we're gonna start with the Station 1 update.
Okay, and then Deputy Chief Phillips, are you on? Okay, Deputy Chief Phillips is working with the assessment center, so I'll take that one. Station 1 update. We're preparing for the Truck 1 ceremony, and Station 1 at Lichty Springs is looking really well. All the doors have been repaired. We have our Landscaping has been done.
All right, I got it.
We're
Need
finishing up.
everyone to mute their mics except Chief is speaking. You have a
We're, we're finishing up with all the just fine things getting ready for the ceremony. So that station is up to date. Our new truck one, that's a 107-foot tower truck that costs about $1.1 million. It'll be put in service officially on May 13th. So we're excited about that. It's going to bring much needed new equipment to that area, to our citizens, and we'll be able to, it will enhance our service delivery, and it'll be a good thing for us. So we were looking forward to that new truck being put in service. Any questions on the Station 1 update? May 13th, we'll be partnering with the Senior Center. The seniors will be involved with the wet down portion of it. We're excited about that as well, and it's going to be a great time for us. All right, any questions on Station 1 update? We'll move on to new Engine 8 update. That's the engine that Deputy
Chief, on Station 1 update, if you could just update us on the doors, the garage doors.
Okay, yes, ma'am. The two garage doors have been repaired, replaced, and they're operational in service. That was it's been a few months now. Well, 3 or 4 months where they had some issues with those doors due to equipment failure, and so we just have to have those doors in place, and they are ready for the ceremony, ready for the new truck, and like I said, we really upgrade the station for its painting, interior, and just doing things around the station, so it looks really well out there. So the doors are up and ready to go.
Okay, thank you.
Chief, can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Do y'all have any problems coming out of that station since it's at that point, the bad intersection?
Mhm.
Yes, ma'am. What we've done is, Madam Chair has asked us to make sure all the lights that they use to get in and out the station is working properly. So we've ordered new equipment to go in all vehicles that will give us control over that traffic light there. And so that's going to be really helpful to us, especially for our response time and everything. So
Very good.
we're happy to get that those materials ordered and hopefully be installed real soon.
Good.
This is a safety thing. It's coming out of there. It's hard
Yeah.
to see both ways, you know. So
Yes.
we're also doing we updating everything out there at Station 11 on 92, Highway 92,
Right.
and that all that stuff, all the lights and everything, and the truck equipment will be talking to each other to get us in and out of there safely.
All right.
Great question.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, well, any other questions? We'll move on to old business item number 2, new Engine 8. Deputy Chief Miles Allen going to update us on that new truck that's going to Mirror Lake.
Your mic is muted, Deputy Chief. There you go.
There you go. I apologize. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Chairperson Jones, Commissioner Guider. As a committee, update on engine number 8. Engine 8 is just short of being ready to go. Right now, it's sitting at a motor pool. We have to dot some I's and cross some T's as far as some administrative paperwork. We're finalizing the last bit of equipment to be placed on that vehicle so that it can be housed at station number 8, which, Madam Guider, I believe that's our area. And the same attention that we're doing with Station 1, we'll be doing that with Station 8 also, preparing for the wet down and pushing. But we're right on task at this moment, and I don't think there's anything I forgot on that one, Chief. Any seconds?
I know, like I said, we're excited to get that equipment, and it's going to be welcoming to the crews out there. They're waiting on the equipment because they run a lot out that area. So we're happy about it and excited. And we'll be doing another wet down ceremony, and Commissioner Guy will be heading that one up. We look forward
I
to-
don't have a senior center.
I know.
We working
So
on
I
it.
don't know who I'm gonna get to help me wipe
Well,
that.
Well, we
Is it
like,
wipe down or wet down?
it's a wet down, and then we wipe it, and then we do but we're looking at the Mirror Lake Elementary School. That might be a great
Oh.
audience, yes. So hopefully we can have the little ones, the future leaders, the future chairwoman of the county and stuff like that to help us out. So we're excited.
Madam Chair, is it okay if I asked him questions about, they're calling it an engine. I want the public to know what kind of a truck it is.
Yes, ma'am. She put it down.
Humper?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Using the terminology we use in the fire department, we say
I know.
engine. Basically, it's a pumper. It's I believe it's a 750 GPM pump. Basically, it's one of your fire engines that you would normally see is voided of the big ladder truck.
Okay.
But this one is the one that does a lot of the work on several types of fires, from vehicle wrecks to house fires to brush fires. It's fully equipped as far as the availability of using the pump to provide water. So now, like I said, all we're doing is just waiting to finalize the last bit of hand equipment and other equipment for the vehicle. But that's the nature of what an engine, a fire engine, what we call it, is basically about.
And you have to have a pumper truck to pump from the hydrant.
Yes, ma'am.
It doesn't have water in it. It sounds like it may have water in it, but
It
does it?
It does. It
Oh,
does
it
have water.
does? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Normally that water will provide for a quick attack if needed, but we actually can supply that truck from a hydrant
Okay.
as supplemental water. Supplemental water goes. So when we go to any type of fire, if there's a close by hydrant, we may have at least 1,000 feet of 5-inch hose that will provide that water from a hydrant. So depending on where the hydrant is in comparison to where the fire is, we can get upwards of 1,000 feet of 5-inch. It's like the hydrant is at the engine itself. So there's very, very little friction loss, and it provides us just as much water coming from the hydrant as if the hydrant was sitting right there.
Okay. Thank you for that explanation. Y'all use terminology that the average Joe is not familiar with. So I like to explain it so people know what we're talking about.
Yes, ma'am. Now, it's good you said that, Commissioner. Our Lieutenant Matt Adair is on the line. Lieutenant Matt Adair? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
Just for the public and Commissioner Guider, let them know what 1 gallon of water will do in terms of extinguishing the fire. What do we train our personnel to do with our water? First of all, we conserve our water, but Lieutenant Matt Adair, tell us about what 1 gallon of water can do.
Well, 1 drop of water will actually multiply 1,700 times. So if you're looking at 1 gallon of water, it can convert over to 1,700 gallons of water in steam. So if we're trying to preserve water, we'll actually go in and what we consider penciling. So we'll open it up just enough to be able to push it back to where we can manage the water until we get a supply established.
So even with that 1,000 gallons of water that we have inside that tank, we can do a whole lot with it if we train and be conservative and take care of rescue. So we just want to let the public know we're doing all we can to conserve and make sure we can get to our citizens and save them if they had an issue.
Very good. I did not know what he just said, that you can take a drop of water or a gallon of water and just multiply it by 1,700. That's pretty good.
Yes, ma'am. It's
I
action.
need that sprinkler system on my lawn.
You got to have a little heat with it too, though.
Uh-oh.
Okay, well, any other questions on the new Engine 8? Like I said, we're excited about it, and our fleet is coming together. So,
Wow, great.
all right, Moving on to old business item number 3, assistance to firefighter grant update. We have went to RFP for a new ladder truck to replace the one that was damaged out on I-20 back in 2019. We had 3 companies that put bids in, submitted bids. We had a very distinguished panel that got together, and including the deputy chiefs and our mechanic and some of our other chiefs, and we looked at and done the rating system on the 3 bids that came in, and we came up with 3 type bids. One that stood out amongst everybody. We're looking to try to, due to time constraints, is make a motion to move forward with taking that bid to the full board for consideration. The only thing that we're looking at is some of the criteria we used was the availability of delivering the piece of equipment. And we had some that was out as far as 30 months, 600 days. And the one we chose was a little bit more than what we had anticipated due to inflation and everything, but we'd like to take a motion to due to the grant being timely, have to be done by a certain time frame for AFG federal grants, to take that to the board for consideration to move forward, pending a realignment of about $645,000 that would have to be looked at. We have it in, I've talked to Terry Gable. We do have that. If we make some realignments in our slots, one truck we were looking at, pushing it back behind the line. Mr. Gable, are you on the line?
Yes, I see.
Yes, Chief.
Can you speak a few minutes on that matter for the fire truck grant? I mean, I'm sorry, not the truck, but the ladder grant, in terms of the moving some stuff around to be able to go ahead and take advantage of this opportunity.
Yeah, Chief. So currently we've got about $1.3 million budgeted for it, and that's obviously including the FEMA grant. We have one of the line items that was in the original SPLOS list was the heavy equipment that was set up for replacement or new, and it was $400,000 budgeted for it. So what the chief is proposing to do is we use that $400,000 now, and we'll drop that heavy equipment below the line, and with some hopes that we'll have some additional, we'll have the revenue towards the end of the program to go ahead and buy it. But right now, use those funds for to offset this difference in the bids.
And what we're looking at is the return time in terms of getting that vehicle built. They'll be building it from scratch, and so we're looking at trying to go with this particular vendor to go ahead and move the process forward. So at this time, before we have anybody have any questions before we make a motion?
Well, this isn't a question, but when I was in Savannah, they had 2 fire trucks down
Oh,
there.
wow.
And I tried to buy them on the spot, but they were already promised.
Yeah,
But I was looking out for you.
Yes,
But they
ma'am.
were bumper trucks anyway.
Oh, yes.
I don't think they had the ladder truck down there.
We got everybody trying to get them now. It's hot commodity.
Yeah.
Any other questions or concerns before we move forward with the motion for the committee, or recommendation for the committee?
No, I think we're good, so you can call the motion.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we move forward with submitting, we'll move forward with taking a recommendation to the full board of commissioners to move forward with one of the vendors that had a good bid in terms of getting the truck back to us, built and all within I think it's 11-month cycle. That's kind of goes in line with the requirements of the time frame for the AFG grant. And also,
You have a second, okay.
I'm sorry.
The motion was made by Chief Jolivet, the second, Deputy Chief Allen. Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any discussion? Committee members? We have a motion and a second, and certainly I will allow you to state your name and respond accordingly with your answer. I'm Ramona Jackson Jones, the chair of the committee. Our response is yes.
Ann Jones Guider, yes.
Roderick Jolivet, yes.
Miles Allen, yes.
Pablo Lugo, yes.
John Davis Reed Jr., yes.
Rosalind Miller, yes.
Tiffany Stewart Stanley, I see you on here.
Yes, yes.
Tiffany Stewart Stanley. We have a unanimous vote to take this item to the Board of Commissioners without the AFB grant. And so the motion carries. So we will be taking this item to the full Board of Commissioners for approval. Okay, Chief, you have the floor again.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Moving on to the next item is our new vehicle acquisitions. We're looking at we probably ran into with the last AFG ladder was there was an issue with the availability of parts and materials, and like Terry Gable had mentioned, SPLOST coordinator, that we had bidded, we had allocated, we had received $1.2 million for this particular ladder. They did it on basic market value standards, but the market value have changed now, and the bids came in a lot higher than what we had anticipated. And I talked to a few vendors that was at the last conference, fire conference, FDIC conference, and they was telling me that the prices were continuing to increase. So what we're looking at is having some discussion on trying to move forward with taking care of some vehicles that we need to take care of our needs for service to the community. But before we do that, Miss Jenny Eschenberg is on the line. She's going to tell us a little bit about what we're spending in terms of maintenance costs. And that maintenance costs is what's driving our decision to want to go ahead and try to get these vehicles taken care of before they come out of price range. So Miss Jenny, are you on the line?
I'm here. Yeah, we've been looking at the what we've spent on. Let me see if I can find this real quickly. Oh goodness gracious, where is all my stuff? I apologize. I thought this would be easier to find. And we essentially, I'm going to find this now, but we have, since the past 10 years, from 2011 to 2021, our spending on vehicle maintenance on our fleet has gone up 215%. And that's part of it. You'll see dips in it, but then that's after we have introduced a couple new vehicles to the fleet, and that's alleviates some of the pressure from the from older vehicles, but then of course increases again. And also I was looking at the same time of the power of the dollar, like the chief was just saying about how costs are going up, and in the same time frame, the power of the dollar has come down. What a dollar bought 10 years ago, it's now only worth 80 cents, essentially. So we're looking at, say again, I'm sorry.
I think it's less than that.
It could be.
Inflation's at 8.9 now. So.
Yeah, yes. But this was just 2021. So, and then this year alone, we closing out April. So that was 1/3 of the year. We've already spent over 50% of what we were allocated for vehicle maintenance. So we just have aging fleets. We have increases in calls because of increases in the population. The census shows more needs, and that's it. a burden to the vehicles, aging fleet. And so there we are. And I'll see if I can get these to share.
And what we did, we went back. You put them back up in right quick, those numbers. We went back to 2011 because we wanted to get some good data on our maintenance costs. And we just found out that with all the savings that we could have made, we probably could have purchased a new fire pumper. So we're trying to cut our maintenance costs by getting I like warranty work. We got something that's been warranted.
Absolutely.
That works really well. It's budget neutral. But it's just so many things that are pointing us in the direction of let's go ahead and make good use of our money now while we can, because we're looking at a 10-year vehicle replacement on all our vehicles, and we got vehicles now that as old as 2005, 2006, 2007. So we're trying to get those replaced so we can not put such a burden on our citizens, by not being able to respond or having to respond out of territory, stuff like that. So we just want to kind of show and talk about the maintenance costs as we talk about our new vehicle, trying to get our new vehicles for our fleet. Right now, we're looking at based on the SPLOST reforecast that was approved by the commissioners. We have one ladder that's estimated or allocated for $1,300,000, and we know that the price now have gone up. But when you have money's already in hand that's available, you're able to work better with the vendors in terms of saying this is what we have, and this is the only amount that we have. Can you help us? So we're looking at one ladder. That's the one ladder. It's already been reforecast for SPLOST for $1,300,000. We're looking at two fire pumpers. We have a fee on that for $1,785,000. We're looking at 4 medical units. We have $900 that's been approved and reforecast for that, and then we have 2 staff vehicles that are at $40,000 a piece. So we like to try to go ahead and acquire those vehicles. And again, I've talked to our SPLOST coordinator, Mr. Terry Gable. I talked to our procurement director, and we all agree that the price of everything is going up, and we need to go ahead and try to secure these vehicles. And it's kind of be like a corporate purchasing agreement, like we did with the new truck that we just got, the ladder, and then 2 new engines. It's kind of be like that same setup. The procurement director couldn't be here. She had another meeting. Mr. Gable, you like to speak on this right quickly about what we're trying to do with these acquisition of some new vehicles?
Yeah, Chief, it's basically the same thing that we did with the 2 fire engines and the ladder. Obviously, the key here is going to be finding them in stock, and with the benefit of inflation continuing to go up and the cost, and not to mention some of the time frames that you had just mentioned from some of those vendors, 30 months out, it's just going to benefit the county if we can go ahead and you're able to buy them stock like we did with the others. We have the money in place now. So, and we're in the last year of the SPLOST program. So it's a good way. It's certainly a good approach, and we can monitor it as we move through it. But I think it's a good approach for where we're at.
And right now, across the country, departments are fighting over stock vehicles already built. Just need modifications, to meet the standards of the community. So we'd like to make a motion that we move forward with going ahead and taking this to the full Board of Commissioners for consideration to engage in a corporate purchase agreement that will put us in line with getting much needed equipment, and also it helps us out with again that maintenance factor and inflation, what have you. But before we do that, we'd like to ask, for some discussion, what y'all think about it. Is this a good move? Is it wise to do? And what do y'all think, committee members?
Okay. Commissioner Guider?
Thank you, ma'am. Gary, how much, I guess it's fund balance or whatever in the fire and EMS do we have that we can do this? Do we have
We
$4 or $5 million?
Yes, ma'am. We have it already in the SPOS. It's already been approved and reforecast. It's already in the cycle to replace the equipment. It's just the fact that we just hadn't moved on it like we need to because of the pandemic and all that going on. But now's the right time to go ahead and try to get those vehicles with the funds we already have in place. We do have the funding in place in our SPOS, and then Mr. Gable, we looked over everything. Mr. Good, we looked over everything, and it wouldn't affect our budget. It'd just be a SPOS item that's already been approved. It's just a matter of moving forward with it in a timely manner due to inflation and everything.
Well, I was wondering why we even have to make a recommendation if you got the money and it's splosh money. How come we can't spend it when we want to?
Yes,
on the equipment that we want, we need.
Yes, ma'am. That's my.
Yeah, I agree with you, Commissioner Guider. Yeah, I agree with you. If it's already budgeted.
Yes, ma'am. Already budgeted.
Yeah.
Well, we could, if I could have, and Commissioner Guider, you have the floor when you finish, and I have a question. Go on.
Well, I yield back. I was just wondering why we have to even make a recommendation.
Oh, yeah, we won't. I agree.
Yeah. All right. There you go.
Chief, if you could have, well, Jenny, if you could pull your graph up just a moment. I noticed there's some variation in the years that are there, how it peaks and valleys. Look like, the only consistent year that's with 2021 is 2015. If you look at 2015, we had $326,118 worth of repairs, and then in 2021, but everything else seems like it's just kind of is variations. Have you looked at to see what the average is between those? I'm assuming 10 years. Have you looked, Jenny, by any chance, to see what the average maintenance costs between those 10 years? Oh, your mic is muted.
There we go. I'm sorry. No, and what I wanted to factor in, I was trying to get some numbers from Fleet as far as, because I'm still new over here in Fire EMS.
Yes.
And I wasn't familiar with the number of vehicles that have been active versus maybe inactive. I was trying to get with Fleet, and there have not been a large increase in vehicles, but I couldn't tell you the actual numbers. I couldn't tell you the average cost per vehicle repair. That was something I wanted to get, but I did not get that in time.
But I can help out with that, especially 2021. Our fleet is aging, and the cost of just doing business now for any little repair is off the roof. Tires have gone up. Jenny, you can talk about that. The tires, we had to go ahead and order a bunch of tires because they said it's going to be out of stock, and because we had to have tires to roll. So it's just been, the pandemic has caused a lot of this high number in 2021. I know.
Yeah, with the oil and petroleum products have gone up substantially. We have a tire vendor that Fleet procures tires from, and we typically keep a certain stock on hand because some of these tires are very difficult to acquire. When the ambulance or some of these trucks need a tire, we don't want to be waiting for it to be replenished. So we keep a stock, or I should say Fleet, they have a stock on hand, and we have looked at the chief and then our fleet manager and Fleet have decided to sort of increase, and we've forecasted we're increasing our stock on hand. And we did that before there was a massive increase. I want to say it was something like 300 to 400% increase in price that they were saying was going to be coming down the pike for the tire increase.
Well, now,
We wanted to get in advance of that.
well, now just to add to it, Chief Farmer, Deputy Chief Lugo, y'all was here, and y'all seen the sheer call volume go from the same, using the same model, but the call volume went up to history calls. I mean, 2021, what was the call volume in 2021?
We average going up between 8 to 11% increase in call volume annually. So it's pretty
Wow.
significant, yeah.
Yeah, it went to 21,000 calls.
We were 21,000, over 21,000 last year, yes, sir.
So our vehicles took a beating all the way around, and I think that it's not going, in terms of our call volume, they're steadily maintaining, so to speak. So, like Graham, I agree, Madam Chair. It does have some valleys and lows and highs and all.
Oh, yeah. I was just out of curiosity, if you look at 2015, if you look at the graph of the bar, and you look at 2021, there's some close similarities. I was just wondering if something happened in 2015, just try to drill down on what happened, not refuting what you're saying, Chief. I know exactly what you're saying. We have a lot of the volume, the pandemic has placed pressure, so I'm in full agreement. I'm just curious. I said, what happened in 2015?
You know, I was definitely not here, but I might be able to explain some of that. I think that when the splosh actually hit, it was able to get some vehicles that helped out a lot.
Some pressure.
Yes.
I did actually pull, there were, I think that was when one of the first vehicles were purchased from SPLOST was in 2016. And so I think the increase, the trend that we saw from 2013, 14, 15, there was this trend that was moving up, and then thankfully new vehicles were acquired. And so some of that pressure was taken off, and they were able to, we have the reserve vehicles, and so they're not constantly being burdened.
There you go. You answered the question for me, because the splosh became active in 2016.
Exactly right.
We said, and then the order started rolling and it's down, but we're spiking back up again. That answered my question. Okay. And it helps the citizens understand better too, because
Absolutely.
2015 is standing out like a sore thumb.
Yes, ma'am.
Definitely. And in fact, actually,
2021 also.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Those two, if you compare them, it's like what happened? What's going on?
And that also, you see 2018, the dip between 2018 and 2019, there were, I think, 2 other vehicles that were purchased. And I'm not talking like little pickup trucks, but it was, I think, a couple of ambulances that were purchased between 2018 and 2019. And so then you see the decrease in the overall cost of vehicle maintenance between 2018 and 2019 again.
Yes, that helps our citizens understand better. That's great. And it helped me understand. I was like, well, something happened somewhere. Okay, sounds good. Is that clear for the committee? Thank you, Jenny. That was a great explanation. Okay. All right. Well, our chief, move full steam ahead. You already have it in your budget.
Yeah, thank you. The next item is dealing with our training center, fire department training center, and Deputy Chief Lugo. Can you give us a little bit of history, the citizens a little bit of history about the training center, which is named after our first fire chief?
Yes, of course. Good afternoon, everybody. Our training center is called the Arrington Training Center, after our first chief, our founding chief. And it opened in October 2009. It was built with SPLOST money from the 2001 SPLOST. And it came to a total of $1.3 million. So it's been in use steadily every year since October of 2009. And for those of you who don't know, it encompasses a training tower, a 5-story training tower, a burn building, burn props, restroom locker building, and we have a double wide that's a classroom building right now. It's very popular in the area. We have a lot of partnering agencies that use it. Atlanta Fire Department has used it, Austell Fire Department, Smyrna Fire Department, some volunteer agencies who don't have a place to train have used it. Georgia Firefighter Standards and Training Council has done classes in our training facility. Georgia Public Safety Training Center has done classes, and obviously we are part of Metro Atlanta Firefighters Conference. So some of their classes are done at the training center when possible. So those are some of the partnering agencies that use this training center. It has been a great benefit to us. It has helped us acquire more ISO points. So because of the training center, the ISO rating has been lowered in the county. But yeah, it's been great. But it's a great thing, honestly.
So what we're doing is we're at the point now where coming out of the pandemic and everything, we've strengthened our firefighting team out there. We have Lieutenant Matty there, Lieutenant LeVarn, and they have took an active role into really trying to do all they can to get this training center back up to top shape. It's been around, like Deputy Lugo said, since 2009, and we do have some money in our SPLOS to come in and change out these towers right here to a new burn cell. And I think the cost on this one you're looking at now, this diagram, is roughly about $300,000. And so from a safety standpoint, from every 5 years, these structures have to be signed off and certified by a structure engineer, and I don't think it's been done within the last 5 years. So we're kind of afraid that we need to go ahead and look at getting this building changed out from a safety standpoint. And also there's some commitments from Atlanta Fire and Rescue that possibly they could share some of the costs of getting this building updated. And so we're excited about that, and possibly talking about future user fees from the other regional partners that could help out. Everybody kind of came in and helped burn the burn building up. That's what it was like.
Yeah.
And it took some years to do, but we're this is our classroom portion, and it's in need of being taken down and a new structure put in place. So we do have $900,000 available, and we like to possibly talk about getting these things brought up to speed. And it's kind of like the vehicle thing. We already have the money in place, and we just need to, as a committee, say let's move forward, get it taken care of, and that's where we are with it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want. This is not Douglas County here. We want to get this taken care of, because we have a lot of people come in, and just from a safety standpoint. So, what's y'all pleasure on that's moving forward? We're trying to get. We have the money. It's already been approved in the reforecast SPLOS. So we have enough money to do what we do to bring the building up to standards.
Yeah.
The facility really.
It's overdue. Definitely, you can just look at the structure that's there now, and it's at $900,000. Can you build like a house, something large? I'm just trying to think of something that's more solid than a trailer.
Yes, Lieutenant Matty, there. You want to talk about what we've been talking about in terms of? We had a kid with a great idea. Go ahead, Lieutenant.
Well, it actually can be done in two separate ways. We can upgrade the classroom portion, have it put in our burn building. And we've also looked at the benefit to the community as it being us building an actual fire station there, and it being located in between, because from where Station 11 is over on 92 and where Station 2 is off of 78 is almost centrally located between them. So as an ISO points, it would actually benefit the department also. And it could be done in stages. So at this point, we could get the classroom built and established, and later be able to come back and put in the rest to actually have it as a manned station. So it could benefit in two roles for the department. We've looked at everything. We've made some drawings to see how it would benefit and how in the future the department would benefit, not just from the standpoint in Douglas County Fire, but all the agencies that actually come out and use the facility also.
And one thing we did, we reached out to other agencies. We actually went on a field trip. Y'all want to tell about that? We went out.
Lieutenant Lover. That'd be Lieutenant Lover and
Yes.
Chief Lugo.
Yeah, we actually went to Smyrna and looked at the process they use for their burn build, not necessarily classroom. Their burn building, they bought the Connex boxes separately and had an engineer draw up something that was up to standards for NFPA. But they recommended us not to go that route, that it was a very large hazard, or it was very taxing on them because of all the standards you have to meet per NFPA and OSHA on the burn boxes. That's why we've looked at the two prefab companies. There's only two in the United States that I've been getting quotes from. As far as the classroom itself, I've looked at two other counties. What they've done is put up a Butler style building, red iron metal building, and saved a lot of cost in that rather than a brick and mortar. Like y'all been saying earlier, the prices of everything has gone up so much that it's so hard to build a brick and mortar or a stick built building because of the prices of wood, concrete, block, all that. Steel prices are going up too, but the Butler buildings are what we're looking at as far as replacing this trailer. I did go out and look at replacing this trailer with another trailer, but the cost was just too astronomical to move the old trailer, bring in a new one just for a temporary solution. That wouldn't, be a justification of taxpayers' money.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Lieutenant Lover.
Madam Chair,
Yes, you have the floor, Commissioner Guider.
thank you. When I was in Savannah, boy, I was looking for y'all. I was shopping for the fire department. Okay, there's a company down there called, well, I don't want to call the name of it, but it's for modular. It's for sleeping quarters, restrooms, laundry, kitchen, everything like that. Kind of like a temporary fire station. And it's got fire and EMS on the brochure. I brought the brochure home because I was kind of impressed with it. So I could give you this information. You could get a bid or something from them if you're interested to go that route.
Certainly is interesting. And like Lieutenant Laverne and Matty there was saying that we looked at the possibility of a Butler building, and this Butler building would be like a training facility for our new people, as well as possibility of a fire station. We can have the engine and the rescue out there, and we can respond to calls and take care. We have another station on the other side of the railroad track, so we could possibly do all this within our SPLOST budget, and like I say, of the benefit in terms of ISO and our training. So
is this off of Wortham Road?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's very close. It's in District 4.
Yes.
And so it could back up the Mirror Lake.
Yes, ma'am. It's a great opportunity for us, and like Lieutenant Leverin was saying, it wouldn't cost as much as a brick and mortar type building. It'd be a building, it'd be solid, and it can meet our training needs as well as our response needs. So
the burn building actually looks like a piggyback tractor trailer, just stacked on top of each other.
And I think the price on this particular building we're looking at, if I'm not mistaken, Lieutenant LeBarn, under, is it like around 300,000, something like that?
So the one pictured here is the better build out of the two companies that I've looked at. This one, as it sits in the picture, is 320,000. Now there's alterations, of course, we got to make to it, and we got to spec it to us. That tower alone we don't need because of the brick tower we have. But I've got them down to around 300,000 on what our needs is.
Can you go back, Jenny, and show that tower that it's a solid tower already in place out there? That you have a picture of the tower in that photo. Yeah, right here. If you look over to your left of that photo, that tower is already built. It's solid. All we'll be doing is working on taking the building to the right out, those Connex boxes and trying to get that new building in there for safety and all that good stuff.
And to answer your question, these are repurposed shipping containers.
Yeah,
The trailers. That's
what it looked like.
yeah, the company that from that picture, they do not get ones that are used. They start with brand new Connex boxes. But that's what the burn companies use. It's a lot easier. They bring them in on trailers. They use a crane. It takes 6 months for them to assemble it inside of a facility, and then takes 2 days for them to put it up when it comes out here. The new one that we're speccing will have the exact same footprint as this old one pictured here. We'll have to have the contractor do a little work on the concrete under it to make sure it's still sturdy enough to hold another building, and put in some new footers. But other than that, it's the exact same footprint. So we save a lot of money in concrete because as we know, concrete prices are way up, as well as everything else.
And lastly, Atlanta Fire Department does not have a training facility for burn, so they routinely come here and use our facility, and they can have as many as how many people, Deputy Chief Lugo, at one time?
Ooh.
Over the usually when they do one burn for one class, they're talking 50 to 60 brand new firefighters. So they've done that repeatedly for about the last 7 years, I believe, every year. So that's a lot of people.
So they feel almost obligated to help us out with this project.
Yeah, and I've talked to them, and they don't have an issue with that at all. In fact, they are encouraging us to basically ask them, and they will help us all they can. I do want to say, that relationship has built a great networking based system. There's nothing that Atlanta Fire Department wouldn't do for us, and we asked them honestly. That's how good the relationship has gotten over the years. So just wanted to put that in there too.
Well, any other, yield back, if we can get the go ahead to move forward with trying to bring our training center in compliance, that would be much needed. And we do, like I said, we do have about 900,000 in SPLOST that would help this, along with some obligations that other regional partners would help us out with.
Chief, I think Mr. Good has a question.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Good.
Hey, Chief, how you doing? Of course, in the SWAT communication, you're right. We do have $900,000 in the reforecast. Do you? And I guess we'll talk offline and find out exactly how much we'll need in total, so we can make sure we look down the list to make sure it can fit in for everything that you guys need for the training facility, as well as the tower piece that you guys just showed.
This is very refreshing news, Mr. Good. We needed that assurance and everything. So like I said, it will be in 2 parts. So we would certainly, if everything goes as planned, we'll be within budget with it, especially with the partners going to help us out. So this is good for our citizens to go ahead and know that we're trying to do all we can to train our personnel in a safe manner, as well as look at other options to provide some response to those areas that may be hard to get to.
Amen.
Thank you, sir.
Are you up?
I yield back to Madam Chair.
Okay,
What are your
Thank
thoughts
you.
towards us?
say that again, Chief.
What are your thoughts in terms of us moving forward, kind of like the last?
Oh, I think the picture,
Oh,
a
business.
photo is worth 1,000 words. If you bring the photo with you, I think you can move quickly. You can see that it's in dire straits of needing something, I should say, better at this point to allow our firefighters to train in. Right now, that center is very old. So I think that is something we're calling a motion to take before the board so we can see what we can do to move forward. The funding is already available.
Yes.
Sounds like we just, and I appreciate what both Lieutenant Adair and Lieutenant Levon, I hope I'm not saying your name, his last name correctly. Is it Levon or
Lovern?
Lovin? I want to say it correctly. Appreciate them taking the time and to find something that's suitable, at the same time something that is not as costly because of this the situation we're in right now. When I say the inflation and the lack of finding materials to build something that's really structured, such as a house, which I had mentioned earlier, but certainly the Butler style building sounds like it would really work, and it has the ability to transform into a potential small fire station.
Yes.
And that would allow us to respond as well. So I look forward to some of those plans. I know Lieutenant Lovren said that they have some plans already in place. Have the plans already been drawn, Chief?
Lieutenant Matty Deere had done some drawings. He had like a computer program that
Okay.
just preliminary stuff we've been looking at, just ideas.
Yeah, and that's what happened. Ideas convert into things come into fruition. So
Yes.
Thank you. I'm excited. Yeah, call a motion, Chief.
I like to make a motion that we take our consideration to the Board of Commissioners to provide much needed support to our training center in terms of looking at changing out our burn cell tower. Our burn cell as well as our classroom in terms of looking at the possibility of getting a Butler building to possibly house another engine in a rescue. So the motion is just to go to the board for consideration to utilize funds that we already have under the SPOS 900,000 to move forward with getting the process started.
Okay, do we have a second? Do we have a second?
Yes, a second.
Okay, second is Commissioner Snyder. Thank you. We have a motion and a second on the floor. Any discussion? We have a motion.
Yes,
Commissioner Guider?
Just a
Mhm.
quick question, since it's already approved, the money is set aside just for it. Do we need to have a recommendation, or can they just proceed like we did on the other one? Is there anything different about this one?
Chief, you in your mind, do you see anything different? I know the funding is available, but that we want to make sure that funding has been approved. So has it been approved for this specific item?
Yes, it has 900,000 earmarked in the reforecast for the training center. And
So it's already been done.
yes, ma'am, we already have the funding for it.
So it sounds like you can just move forward if it's already been done, but certainly I want to enlighten the board.
Yes.
So they can just look and even I would encourage you to bring those photographs, and that would even make everything more palatable. So
yes, ma'am.
Certainly I want to go through with this one, Commissioner Gotti, just rather for everyone to be on board with this one. When I say that, the entire Board of Commissioners to be on board. So we have a second, we have a motion made and a second on the floor. Any other discussion? Okay, we have a motion and second. Certainly I'll start with myself first and then go around the virtual room and respond accordingly. Ramona Jackson Jones, the chairman of the committee, yes.
And Jones Guider, vice chair, yes.
Roderick Jolivet, Fire Chief Douglas County EMS, yes.
Deputy Chief Miles Allen, Deputy Chief Operations, yes.
Deputy Chief Pablo Ludo, yes.
Tiffany Stewart Stanley, yes.
John Dewey, yes.
Rosalind Miller, yes. Okay. Committee, we have a unanimous vote to go forward and motion carries. So we will take this to the board, and Chief, I ask, this will be presented in one of our work sessions.
Yes.
And hopefully, photographers working any words. So thank you. All right, Chief, you have the floor again with our new business.
We have new business, and it's going to go relatively quick. We have 8 items, and we'll start with COVID-19 update as well as EMS update from EMS Chief Stacy Farmer.
COVID numbers still look great. We're running about 5.8% in Douglas County, which is considered low. So that's great. We've only transported 6 known COVID patients in the month of April. So we're way down from nearly 200 in January. So that's really good news.
That's excellent.
So our COVID numbers look great.
Wow, that's excellent.
And
Chief?
EMS Farmer, do you have anything in terms of EMS? Quick update on EMS business.
So we are still waiting to hear back from the grant funding for the crisis unit that we are hoping to be able to establish here in Douglas County. We just started sending out patient satisfaction surveys in our billing report. So we're looking forward to start getting those in a couple of weeks. We have worked on our response layout, what our model looks like, and kind of rework some of our units to better distribute the unit hour utilization for some of our most busiest apparatus. And then the last thing is EMS Week is coming up. That's going to be May 15th through May 21st. So we've got special activity planned May the 21st, and more information to come on that.
And just to add to that, this month is a mental health awareness month, and what we're doing is, what are we doing, Chief Farmer, in terms of that, our personnel?
Well, we have the relationship with Tara with the Nichols Center. She delivered some goodies and breakfast to them on Monday. So we have that. And then basically it's just getting information out. We've been partnering also with P.S. Scott, who's been also a good resource and someone to partner with. We're hoping to work with her on the back end as far as the EAP program. And our whole goal is getting our providers connections and mental health coaches and to providers that can help take care of them when they're struggling with some of the calls they've seen.
And lastly, what's really helping them too in terms of morale and mental health is we give some of the things that they've needed for a while, like their uniforms and just low-hanging fruit items. And we're thankful to the Board of Commissioners for approving monies to help with uniforms and operational costs. So that's been helping as well in terms of their mental health being and all. So any questions for Chief Farmer? Okay, moving right along to state national certifications. Every month we are doing something about our certifications. And do you have any updates, Lieutenant Matty, there, on our certifications, national certifications and the state certifications? I do know that Deputy Chief Lugo, in terms of state certification hours, where are we as a department as of May the 3rd in terms of our personnel having the state certification hours?
As of May the 3rd, all our field personnel have met the required training for the year already.
That's amazing.
Yes, excellent.
And that's our state certification hours. So in light of calls and everything, we're doing our state certification training as well as national certification, continue to be on the uptick. So just wanted to update the citizens on that we're not being ordinary, we're being extraordinary.
Thank you.
Being trained and ready to go. All right, no questions on that. We'll move on to personnel update and new hires. Ms. Austin, are we hiring anybody out there?
Yes, we have.
Good afternoon,
Good
committee
afternoon.
members and the citizens of Douglas County. I'm sorry. I hope that's okay. My name is Paula Austin, and I will provide you with the personnel update for the Douglas County Fire Department. The fire department currently has 22 open positions. We've hired 2 part-time AEMTs from DeKalb County, and they started on Monday, May 2nd. They're happy to be on board and are looking forward to caring for you, the citizens of Douglas County. We also have 2 team members that are in fire training school at a mutual aid partner fire department, and 2 team members that are in fire training at the Georgia Public Safety Training Center. And we expect them to graduate May 20th of this month. And Fire Chief Jolivet, he's been requested to speak at their graduation. And that's a plus, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. I thank you for your time this afternoon, and that's what I have for you.
Paul, I have a question for you. And you said we had 22 openings. I believe we had that we are beginning to improve in comparison to the first of the year. I believe we had 40 something openings.
Yeah, our goal is to hire at least 1 per pay period, 1 qualified candidate per pay period. And yes, we've cut it down to half. I believe at the beginning of the year, we started with like 40 openings. Is that
Yes.
correct, Steve? About 40 openings or so. So we're steady working at it, and people are wanting to come to Douglas County to work, and we welcome them with open arms.
Now, one key piece, especially to our citizens, where the Board of Commissioners came in with the incentives for our pay raises, much needed, 10% across the board for our responders, and another 5% is coming. Also incentives for our paramedic and medical personnel. So all this, along with having great benefits and a great environment, and also a great fire chief. I mean, it's really working out for us. I had to throw that in there. But yeah, we're actually hiring people, and everybody else. I think DeKalb County. I think Chief Reed was talking last meeting. Chief, how many openings are they having in DeKalb County? Is it a high number? Atlanta, DeKalb County.
Yeah, DeKalb County had 100, and so did Atlanta. As of yesterday, they need 100 firefighters as well.
So we are. It's a nationwide issue, but we're happy to report that we are hiring qualified people as well as people locally who we are training. We're training in our facility as well as other facilities. So we're looking good in terms of personnel, and we're doing all we can to make sure we treat everybody fair, give them a good environment, keep them safe, and it's paying off. I mean, with morale and everything, it's really looking good for us.
Excellent.
All right. Any other questions on that?
Hey, Chief, and the latest trend is lateral movement. A lot of lieutenants and captains are going to other departments now in the same position. So
you certainly have to be outside the box, innovative thinkers when it comes to hiring personnel to take care of our citizens. And we're certainly keeping up with the trends and the status and everything. So I think our recruiting efforts are really working and paying off. And what's so good about it, I'm going to say this and I'm going to stop on that one. What's so good about it is our ambulance. Our ambulances are, Chief Farmer, tell me about our ambulances. What are we doing in terms of putting people, having ambulances up and available to our citizens?
Well, with staffing issues and things that we've had to kind of navigate through, it's been refreshing. The last couple of weeks, we've been able to put up every single ambulance for the 24-hour period. And then looking through our financials, we are hoping that we're going to be able to put up 3 additional day truck ambulances to kind of combat the increase in call volume by the end of the year. And we should be able to meet that goal.
And our telecommunicators are very appreciative because when they have people on hold and you don't have an ambulance, everybody is it's nerve wracking. You don't have an ambulance to serve, and the mutual aid not available. So we've been very excited about this, and also our getting to our citizens in a timely manner. So it's been good, refreshing to have these extra ambulances up and going.
Absolutely.
All right.
And I'm quite sure the pandemic is giving some relief to that as well, which is great. You know, by the numbers that our chief, EMS chief reported a second ago regarding the is it 5.8% of, is it per 100,000? Is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
what it is, chief? Okay, so that's helping. So
Absolutely.
that's great. What about the QRV, quick response vehicles? Are they here yet? I know they were on order, and that was something Commissioner Guider had asked about several weeks, well, a month ago.
Yes.
Several months ago. Are they here yet?
They are not here, but I'm looking at the window right now for them. They can come any day now. And what that's going to do for us is we'll be able to put paramedics in those vehicles, and they'll be able to relieve some of the burden of all the big trucks riding down the road going to a call, BLS call, so to speak. We have those QRVs roaming around the county.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also looking at training some of our personnel to be emergency response EMRs. They'll have their basic, and they can support the QRV personnel, and just another idea, another plan to enhance our service and take care of our citizens. So when those QRVs get here, we're ready for them. We're well ready for them, and again, I'll provide updates as they come in as far as the QRVs. We have 4 that's already been approved in our forecast for the funding and all. So we're hopefully any day now they'll come in.
Okay. See if you have the floor again.
All right, I'll move on to EMA update, Mr. Jason Mulholland, followed by E911 update, Ms. Katrina Harley, and then we'll have the newsletter by Blaze, Melissa Laredo, as well as the ambulance building, and then April events. Mr. Mulholland?
Yes, sir. We got our new EMA specialist that'll be starting Monday week. She was doing her last week at FEMA. This week's turning in her notice at FEMA. She'll be she's doing the exit process, so she couldn't get on this cycle. So she'll be starting, I guess, a week from 2 weeks from yesterday to get in the next program come in. So that'll be really looking forward to that, to getting some additional help and working on some different projects we want to really start picking up on it with emergency management. Other thing, and just finished discussions with FEMA on our COVID-19 grant with FEMA. There was a lot of back and forth because we had to make real sure that we weren't double dipping with anything. We had to work with all of our partners, make sure none of the other funding was paid for something we were asking FEMA to pay for. After going back and forth, we finally came up with a number that FEMA seems happy with, and we want to getting ready to go ahead and go forward to GMA and get the paperwork to take to the board for Board of Commissioners to ask for permission to officially apply for that grant, which the amount we came up with so far is $434,612. So,
You're breaking up a little bit.
It was a.
There you go. Can you repeat your last couple of sentences?
Yeah. Like I said, it was a good bit of work going back and forth with FEMA, arguing back and forth, trying to justify. Because there's a lot of justification that goes into this particular grant. They want to make sure that anything you ask for had direct ties with saving lives, and that you had to argue your case on all of it. Some you win, some you lose, but it was back and forth multiple times over the last year, really going back and forth. But we didn't give up. We kept in the game. But I think that's a good number, and I think when we'll go ahead and get with the Georgia Emergency Management, tell them we're ready. They'll get us the paperwork, and we'll present it to the board of commissioners to ask to officially apply for the grant. We've done all the work now, and FEMA's agreed to it. So now it's just the paperwork issue of asking for the money so that they can obligate the money and get us a check.
Thank you, Mr. Mulholland. Is that it, Jason?
Yes, that's all.
Okay, we'll go. Any questions for Mr. Mulholland? All right, thank you.
Exciting news. Thank you.
For the job you're doing. So, Ms. Harley, Director Harley?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Commissioner Guider, citizens of Douglas County. I'd like to just talk very briefly about our service user agreement with Motorola. As you're familiar, this item was brought up December 2021, the Motorola service user agreement, and was placed on the work session agenda on December 13th. And so we're at a point where we have to begin to revisit the discussion. As you may recall, our maintenance agreement on our radio system towers actually expires March of 2023. And so at the time, Motorola actually presented three options. They presented a 12-year option, which costs less overall with the 12-year agreement, which has an opt-out cancellation fee of $58,846.61. But that 12-year agreement comes at a price tag of $8.5 million, which has an average per year cost of $708,333.34. The 2-year option is $1,076,434.86. And the 3-year option was $1,064,557.92. With our radio system towers, of course, we are connected to Cobb County's Regional Radio Corps, which requires that we maintain updated software and hardware agreement. And again, our maintenance agreement expires March of 2023. And so that service user agreement is what was decided upon when we first went with our radio system towers in 2018. And so now we're to the point where we have to decide on a service user agreement. And so I just wanted to kind of bring the conversation back forward because we are quickly approaching 2023, and we don't want to have our radio system towers unmanaged without a software user agreement, and we're required to have one. So just wanted to bring that that discussion back.
Director Harley, is there any, I know there's probably some documents or some paperwork that's going to be required to go through our attorney, county attorney and all that. Have we started the process? It sounds like we need to start on.
Yes, so we've actually, yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, we've actually started the process with the consulting company that was hired by the county to revisit those 2017, 2018 pricing options that Motorola initially offered the county. I believe when it was presented in December, it was presented in such a way that if we did not have an agreement by a certain date at the end of 2021, that the prices would change. And so that consulting company will work on our behalf to ensure the best pricing options are presented to the county.
Okay. So the process is already moving.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
Sounds good. I said, it'll be 2023 before we blink an eye. These days and months are just passing by so quickly. Okay, that's good to know. And I know that's good to know as well for you, Commissioner Guider, that we don't want to wait till the 9th hour. So you said it's already moving forward now.
Yes, ma'am.
Required documents that's needed to help us get to renew this contract. Okay. All right. Chief, and are you finished, Director? I didn't want to, I interrupted you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Director Harley. Yes. It's an opportunity for us to get ahead of it for, like I said, 2023. Okay, well, no questions on that. We'll move on to the newsletter. Alyssa Laredo.
Yes, I'm sorry, my mic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm just waving at you.
Okay.
You thought I was saying bye-bye. Madam Chair, is there any way that, maybe Rosalind is on here, is there any way ARPA funds can be used for that under the technology category?
Rosalind?
Yeah, I know that the technology, they've already approved their budget, but the budget can be amended. But the budget has already been established for technology.
My dog started barking. Somebody pulled up my driveway. Hold on just a minute.
I'm going to start.
Director Hartley, do you have funding already secured for this initiative, or can you tell us?
So
I'm
with
hoping
the-
you say yes.
Actually, with the radio system towers, 911 fees within our budget can actually not be used for radio system towers. So we are prohibited from using those 911 fees that are contained within our budget for the radio system towers.
So it sounds like we need
How much? I'm sorry. How much was it? How
1
much?
million.
Well, it's 3 options. So there's a 12-year option that comes with an $8.5 million price tag, which would make the per year cost $708,333, about $333.34. There's an opt-out cancellation at $58,846.61. And then they offered a 2-year at $1,076,434.86, and a 3-year where it would cost per year $1,064,557.92. So with the 12-year agreement, which is typically standard by most within most 911 centers and PSAP's public safety answering points with most counties. Most counties opt for that 10 to 12-year agreement because the difference is with the 2-year, it's like $368,101.52, and with that 3-year, the difference is $356,224.59. So it comes with a significant yearly price tag if you don't opt in for the longer agreement with Motorola to maintain those radio system towers.
Okay, and so you would have to start paying in 2023 or this year, because you can put it, request it for your 2023 budget, but do you need it for 2022?
It would be for 2023 because the warranty actually expires the first quarter of 2023, which at that time we would be required to have a service user agreement in effect moving forward.
Okay, well then that's fine. Then once the budget process starts, which would be in July, then just remember to add that in your budget. Well, I know not your 911, but I guess you're going to have to decide where, it's going to be in general funds budget, but make a point that you need that maintenance so the board can decide on to fund it.
Yes, and that's why we wanted to go ahead and kind of get that discussion started, so it would kind of be on everybody's radar that it was something that was coming.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Coming.
Sounds good. We'll move on to the newsletter, followed by the Ems Building. On this on the radio.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Our Blaze newsletter has recently expanded. We had a new area for our chairwoman, Dr. Ramona Jackson Jones, and a new commissioner corner that is all located on pages 3 through 5 in our latest issue. All our monthly issues are located on our county website at celebratedouglascounty.com, where it can be found under services, fire and emergency services, and in the left section, we have a section for the Blaze newsletter. We also post our newsletter on our Facebook page at the end of the month. Our newsletters have a lot of information such as updated call volumes, totals, important information from E911, EMA, our EMS chief, our deputy chiefs, a field overview from the battalion chiefs, and much more.
Right. Very good.
Does anyone have questions about the newsletters?
No questions, just comment that it's very well done and that it's a breath of fresh air for Douglas County to allow our citizens to become very engaged with our fire and EMS department. And E911 and EMA, all that is in that newsletter. So Chief, I had asked, at one point if you could advertise it in Chapel Hill News and Views, I guess, to allow every citizen to just at least take a sneak preview and then guide them to your website or your Facebook page for the future. But it'd be your premier previewing for the citizens so they'll realize that it's there. But it's a very good newsletter.
Awesome. And Miss Melissa Laredo had done some research on that, and we're looking to move forward in the near future with that. She's been talking to the recreation.
It'll be the unveiling of the blaze.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Melissa, you want to talk about the building?
Yeah.
You have some exciting news, I hear.
Yes. For the billing of the month of April, we had 1,532 responses. And out of those responses, we had a total of 864 transports, averaging about 52 calls a day. We pulled in over 190,000 for the month of April, giving us a total current revenue of over 957,000 for our ambulance billing. We have noticed an irregular information with our payments for the month of April, and we have requested an audit with the billing company. If any discrepancies are found, we will be reporting them.
Thank you.
So in terms of our EMS billing, Ms. Laredo took over for Courtney probably six months ago, maybe. So we're tag teaming now with EMS Chief Farmer, who is speaking the language, and we're doing a deep dive into our billing to make sure we get what our share of our collections. So we're looking at all the documents, looking at all the data, and making sure that we are in line with everything we're supposed to get in terms of our billing. So we'll bring you up to date on our audit that we're doing. Our next meeting, we'll talk about our audit, let you know where we are with that, with our EMS billing. Our calls are up, our responses is up and everything, so we want to make sure that our billing is in line with that. So we have started the audit process to make sure that everything's in line.
Okay. Chief, just had a question about the billing component, and so this is for Chief Farmer. Chief Farmer, are you utilizing the ICD-9? I believe it's 9. It's ICD-10 now. The International Classification Formula for the billing, and then also the CPT codes and DRGs, which is the diagnostic related groups. Are you utilizing it? I know you would know it because of the medical piece.
We are. The issue that we run into is the way that CMS does billing is it's only due for transports. And that's one thing that she was talking about with the audit is we're trying to look at the entire system and what operationally where we need to be at to make sure that we're at zero. And so we're looking at some considerations, things like response fees, things like that may be necessary. Right now, if we go to a home in the community, we administer 3 different medications, and the patient decides they don't want to go to the hospital, then that we don't have an avenue for any type of recoupment for the expense of those medications. And so regionally, we're polling the region and regional facilities, and what we're looking at is about $75 is about on point for a response fee. And it wouldn't be every response, but we're trying to figure out what is going to be necessary to make sure that we're at that zero level. We're also looking into the collection rate. That's a little lower than what I'm used to seeing in a doctor office facility. So we're looking at the collection rate, and then also looking at when things get turned over to the collection agency, what reimbursement or recoupment we're getting from the collection agency. And to me, that number also looks a little bit low. So we just want to make sure that they're all on point.
And add to that, the insurance companies, they have different things that they will pay for. All we have to do is make sure we have it in our muni codes and bill accordingly. So we're looking at that. We're looking at what other agencies are doing as well.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, that's my question. Thank you so much, Chief Palmer.
Any other questions for the billing? Well, if not, our last item is April events, and Miss Jody Newton, she will close us out with April events.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Jody.
Good afternoon. The fire department had a few events this month. One of our first events we had was we hosted the county's first 22 Lunch and Learn on April 19th. We had it here at fire headquarters. We were learning about some mental health tips and training strategies from Mr. Lawrence from Harmony Wellness Angels. We had some of the county members, admin staff here. So that was a good learning experience and kind of helping with this month's mental health. And then also our next thing that we had here was the Douglas County Fire EMS Citizens Award and sorry, my mind just drew a complete blank. Citizens Award, the Employee of the Month for our field personnel and our admin personnel. For our citizen, we had an award from Mr. Derek Mahone. He's the one that helps with all of our events and taking pictures and publishing them for us here for the fire department. So we wanted to thank him. Our admin personnel that we had was Deputy Chief Eric Phillips. And his award we presented him was for his tireless work for the fire department and the community and all of the stakeholders that it involves. Last but not least was Fire Chief had presented an award to Lieutenant Scotty Redden. He has been here since 2007 with Douglas County Fire. The award was presented to him for his recognition assistance during a leadership for Douglas County Public Safety class. And that was at the Arrington Training Facility on April 14th. So we just wanted to thank him and tell him that we appreciate him for all his years of service here.
We've been quite busy. We also had Commissioner Geider came over.
Yes.
You want to tell us about that right quick?
Yes. So Commissioner Geiger came. We all went outside kind of in the rain for a little bit. But we had sorry, let me get back to it. The engine for Station 8. We had it show up here that morning. We all went outside, looked at it, took pictures, and had fun in the rain. It's a lot of fun.
So once again, our citizens are getting much needed equipment, and it's going to Mirror Lake, and Commissioner Goddard came out and took some pictures with us and had some good times. So we're looking forward to like Chief Allen, Deputy Chief Allen said, is officially welcoming that truck to Mirror Lake, and we'll begin with Commissioner Guider as well as our other planning members to let y'all know exactly when we're going to do that ceremony, which will be sooner than later. And with that, Madam Chair, we turn it back over to you. We don't have any other business, and we normally last an hour. I think we went over a little bit, but that's the sort of things going on.
We did. We had a bottleneck of good information today that has come forth, and this has been a very beneficial meeting. Are there any other remarks from our committee members? If there are no remarks, thank you all so much for attending our committee meeting. If there's nothing else to come before our committee, guess what? This meeting is adjourned, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you.